hello everyone. I will just go live on YouTube. And I would say, let's start. So this is a live event. And that will go also live on YouTube. So the participants are coming, but I would say, let's just start. So thank you all for being here. I'm Valeria Fantini from ALDA, the European Association for Local Democracy, which is one of the partners of the project Food Wave. And today we are going to talk about the call for proposal that has been developed within the Food Wave project. So just to give you a quick overview, the Food Wave project is a project co-founded by the European Union and specifically by the DARE program. And it has at its core the nexus between food and climate. So it wants to create awareness on sustainable ways to promote and consume food involving young people. The lead partner of the project is the City of Milan, and the consortium is very big. We have 25 project partners, but the core 5 partners are Action Aid Italy, Fondazione Accra, and we have Sara Marazzini today from Fondazione Accra, Manite and Manitese, and of course we are part then of the consortium. Today we will first, before going into actually the part of the session that will be dedicated to this year's call, we will talk with first Cécile Michel from the municipality of Milan, the city of Milan, of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, who will talk to us about the experience of the City of Milan and the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and the Food Wave project. Then Sara Marazzini of Accra will talk about youth engagement within the Food Wave project. And then before going into this year's call, we will hear 2 best practices of the call that was implemented last year by 2 civil society organizations that are, and for them we have Susanna Lehel from Pelos Gastrojos. Sorry for my pronunciation, they will let you know how to pronounce it. And then we have Rui Pedro from Rio Neva. It's important to listen to them as well, because I think it can be also inspiring for the potential beneficiary that will apply to the call this year. So without further ado, I will leave the floor to Cécile Michel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valeria, for the introduction, and hello, good morning, everybody. I am glad to be here today to this online informative session of the Food Wave call for proposal 2022, a call which is addressed to cities and municipalities. I am Cécile Michel, and I work for the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, a network launched by the City of Milan in 2015, with over 200 cities worldwide engaged in designing and developing more sustainable urban food system. I have the pleasure to present it to you, but let me first express my appreciation for Food Wave, which is a project designed and promoted by the City of Milan, together with the many partners across 17 countries and co-founded by the European Union. There are many common values and shared goals between the Milan Pact and Food Wave. First of all, we both consider food as a powerful leverage for change, both at the environmental and the social level. Then we both consider that the role of youth and future generations as an important aspect of the food agenda. And we believe that cities and municipalities are crucial actors in fixing the food system, a fix that is urgently needed, we believe. In fact, many cities of the Food Wave project are also part of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact, meaning that in a way we are a kind of community growing and evolving in order to find different ways to tackle our common topics such as sustainability, food, urbanization, climate crisis. As Milan Pact, we have been asked to be part of the International Selection Committee for the 2022 call for proposal addressed to cities. and it is an assignment that we accept with pleasure, as it has been a great pleasure being part of the committee last year. The call for proposal was directed and addressed to civil society organizations. I believe that this call for proposal represents an important opportunity for municipalities, not only, of course, for the provision of a grant, but also because also, and first of all, I would say, because it gives the opportunity to enter in a community of like-minded cities and municipalities sharing same values that are also the same of those of the Millennium Urban Food Policy Pact. So after those few words of introduction to highlight our common ground, let's say, let me present the MEFPP. Since today there are many colleagues working as city officers in cities, I believe and hope this will be of great interest. I'm going to share my screen now. Let me all right, I believe you can now see it. All right, so what is the Millennium Urban Food Policy Pact? Actually, it is a joint commitment of mayors of cities. It has been launched by the mayor of Milan, by the city of Milan, and today it represents, I would say, one of the main legacy of Expo Milan 2015, whose theme was Feeding the Planet. It is a global joint cities declaration to promote urban food policies. Urban food policies that, in our view, should be inclusive, resilient, safe, diverse, and healthy. In doing so, the Milan Pact presents and promotes a set of 37 recommended actions that are clustered into 6 categories, embracing, let's say, the whole food system: governance, sustainable diet and nutrition, social and economic equity, food production, food supply and distribution, and food waste. Those categories are much important in the 2022 call for proposal. I believe that we will go back to this topic later. Let me present you the MEFPP in a nutshell. We are now at 6 years of activities. We have today 222 signatory cities worldwide, but the majority of them are based in Europe, divided into 6 MEFPP regions. The governance is ensured by a steering committee, which is composed by 13 cities. And so far we have organized 7 global fora, 16 regional fora, and thanks to the Milan Pact Awards, we have collected so far 370 best practices of cities. We will go back also on this. Here you can have a glimpse of the membership of our membership. So with the city population per MEFPP region, as well as city clusters per population range. It is curious and yes, to see that, for example, to note that, for example, in the Asia Pacific region, despite let's say little number of signatory cities, only 20, those cities gathered and represent 150 million of inhabitants, while in Europe, where we have the majority of our cities, of our signatory cities that are 100, those cities represent 60 million people. All right. I mentioned the steering committee, which provide strategic insights and political directions to the Milan Pact community. The steering committee is an elected body of 13 cities, elected by the assembly of the whole all MEFPP signatory cities. There are 2 cities that they are elected on a regional basis. So every city is being part of a specific region elect 2 cities of their own region. So 2 cities per 6 regions, plus the city of Milan, which is a chair and permanent member of the pact. So here you can see the different cities part of the committee. Here you can see the global fora, the regional fora, and the webinars that we have organized so far. Global fora are a very important moment for our community because it gives us the possibility to gather and to meet all together, and so to assess the state of the pact, where we are going, our goals, objective. While regional fora are very important because gives our cities the possibility to confront with the cities region the same challenges being part of the same region. So this is called this is our regionalization process. Here you have a glimpse of a few pictures of our last global fora that took place in Barcelona last October. It has been well, let's say, humbly saying a success, because we organized over 25 sessions with over 500 participants from over 100 cities worldwide. There have been the involvement and physical presence of 40 political leaders, contribution from over 100 speakers, and the engagement of a wide array of partner organizations. Next forum, global forum, will take place in Rio de Janeiro in October this year. I mentioned the Milan Pact Awards, which is our, I can say, the most powerful tool we have to collect the best practices from our cities. So far, we organized 5 editions of the Milan Pact Awards that allowed us to collect 370 best practices, which we believe can be of inspiration for other cities willing to work on the same topics. All our good practices are in our website. So at the end, I will give you all the social media and website address, so you can have a look, and we hope that will be a kind of inspiration for other cities. We couldn't do so without the support of our partners that are many, and that span from international organizations to other city networks, research and the university research centers and university private foundation, of course the European Union, and different NGOs that are really precious partners in implementing all our activities. This is just to say that at the global level, there is an increasing awareness of the crucial role of cities and municipalities in fixing the food system and in the food agenda, as actors in the food agenda. And I think that the fact that the UN Food System Summit Secretariat asked the Milan Pact and the Milan Pact cities to organize the only session dedicated to cities and local food system. This is really a proof of this increased awareness on the role of municipalities. All right, so this is the conclusion. Here you can see how to reach us out. So through our social media, YouTube channel, but also email, and of course our website, where you can find all informations and best practices. All right, I will now return the floor to Valeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cecile, for your very interesting presentation, and I will leave the floor to Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Valeria. Thank you, Cecile. Thank you for the opportunity to give a brief overview on how Food Wave is promoting youth engagement. I'm Sara Marazzini from ACRA. ACRA is an NGO based in Milan dealing with international cooperation and global citizenship education. And together with Manitese and ActionAid Italy, we are coordinating some specific components of the Food Wave project, focusing on engagement, awareness, and communication and outreach. What is important about the Food Wave project is that Food Wave is a strategic alliance between civil society organizations and local authorities. We have 29 different partners in 16 cities, working together to empower young people, to empower urban activists to act against the climate change and ask for climate action. The youth engagement is at the very heart of the project. We work towards active citizenship and youth active citizenship in different ways. So Food Wave offers different opportunities, training courses, workshops, events, discussion fora, international exchanges, and both online and offline to promote and increase the awareness of young people about the link between sustainable food systems and climate change mitigation and adaptation. What is important is that we work with different kinds of young people in urban areas. We work with more than 700 activists, so people who are already somehow engaged in climate action, empowering them with specific competencies and tools to be more effective in asking for change. But we also work in different communities with people who are less close to climate awareness and engaging them anyway in asking for change. So we work with what we call multipliers. We work with young people, supporting them in asking for change, in asking change in local policies, in promoting behavioral shift, both at individual level and collective level. We do it by not only working with individuals, working with people in communities, but above all, working with youth associations and youth organizations. So in different project activities, we map, we engage, we involve existing grassroots associations, youth movements, youth organizations interested in cooperating for climate action. And supporting us in linking the strategic importance of sustainable food systems and climate policies at local level. So it's very important what we are doing today. So sharing practices and understanding best practices coming from the local communities. So I will leave the floor to two organizations, two sub-grantees who were last year supported by ALDA sub-granting call. So I'll leave the floor to Susanna to share her experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for everybody. It's nice to be here. Hello, my name is Zsuzsanna Lehel. I'm the director of Heroes of Responsible Dining Foundation. It's a Hungarian foundation. We work in Budapest, and our Hungarian name is Felelős Gasztrohős Alapítvány. It's a bit hard to pronounce. As for the foundation, we started working in 2012, and our main topic is sustainable dining. And we do two main activities to support sustainable dining. The first thing is that we give a certification for sustainable restaurants and cafes. Now it's a 21 criteria certification, and we provide our partners with guidance and network and promotion within the network and on the social media. And beside that, we do awareness raising. And as I forgot to start my presentation, so now I share my screen. So because this is a nice college of pictures on what we are doing. As you can see in the left down corner, there is this certification, fenntartható vendéglátó, this green one. And beside the certification, we, as I mentioned, we do awareness raising programs. We have programs online and offline as well, from the age of like 3-5, from kindergarten kids till adults. We have a program for kindergarten kids, a special program for school kids and for young adults. And for the adults, we have this program called Próbatétel or Gastro Trial. And we also do team building activities with this program for companies. Beside that, we do every year like 2-3 main national campaigns on topics related to responsible dining. As you can see on this picture on the right side, we always create nice visuals for this campaign. This campaign was about, on the picture, was about the Sustainable Valentine's Day. And we created a menu for people who are not interested in strawberries in February. So we created a menu for them, and we partnered with our certified restaurants, and they also provided a sustainable Valentine's Day menu within the campaign. As you can see on the other side, there is this nice raccoon picture, because our foundation started an initiative 2 years ago with reusable metal food containers to avoid plastic food containers. This is a circular system where consumers can prepay for our service. They can get these metal boxes. You can see them on the picture on the left side. And they can reuse this metal container in the network with the restaurants participating in the network. And this way they can avoid the usage of plastic containers. And these are our main activities. And what we did during the Food Way program was on the next slide. Just one more insight of what we create as a visual awareness raising. This is one of our infographics. This one is about the appropriate usage of our refrigerator in order to avoid food waste and to spare energy. And as for the Food Way program, we participated with our GAS trial or Próbatétel program. Within the program, we went to 3 university events and 3 high schools where we promoted this program. Within Próbatétel or GAS trial, we use games, as you can see on the picture. This is a modular program with like 6 or 7 games. We use them so people can come and play with every game in a rotation. And every game is big and visually interesting and beautiful and magnetic, so it's easy to use and it's quite nice. So it attaches people's eyes. So they can come to our stage and play with the games, and our games are all related to some topics of the sustainable dining, like the certification related to the food system, or as you can see in the picture in the middle on the top, there is this seasonal and local so this game is about seasonal and local ingredients, and within the game participants can create the circle, the seasonal circle for the year with seasonal produces. And we also talk about the waste management related to food waste, local superfoods, will promote local superfoods instead of import ones. I already mentioned certifications. There is a stage where you can create a sustainable menu, a sustainable and seasonal menu. And we have also gained for this nose to tail approach, which promotes the whole consumption of a given raw material, and also waste management, as I mentioned. So if someone is interested in the program, they can, mostly schools, they can contact us, and we bring all these games, and the classes can participate in the program. And how we can affect them: we give them a lot of practical tips and information. We always get the feedback that they learn something new on the topic, and we use these games to like start a conversation. And when we are done, so they finish the game, our instructors always come to check the solutions and discuss their questions and give them further information or tips on a given topic. So this is how the program works. And thank you. I think this was everything I wanted to present today. I show you my contact details. This is Felelős Gasztrós, as you can see below. And if you want to contact us about the programs or about the foundation, you can reach me on this email address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susanna, for your wonderful presentation and the activities we implemented. And now I will leave the floor to Rui Pedro from Rio Neiva. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So my name is Rui Pedro. I'm not sure if you will be able to spell it or not. But anyway, don't mess with the name of the organization that is quite similar, Rio Neiva, that it means river, actually. Allow me to share my screen so I can brief you on what we experienced before. So on the first place, I would like to thank you, everybody, of course, for this opportunity to get to put and share with everybody what we just did. I'm just going to shortly brief you about our organization and then about the project that is called MOF Waste. I'm going to assume also that you're seeing my screen. So the name of our project is MOF Waste, but like I said, I'm going to brief you about the organization before. So basically we are an NGO, an environmental NGO, and the two main visions and missions that we work on is environmental education and nature sport. So basically on your right, the picture, it will let you know where we are based. This is our headquarters and also our view from our office. Like I said, we basically promote and valorization of local and natural environmental biodiversity, and we work basically with schools and the local community. We have 33 years already. We are member of the National Youth Associative Network. That means that we basically work for the youth, and also that our organization is 80%, the direction, the board of the organization, it's 80% under 30 years old. So we are, as I said, an environmental organization, and we are considered as a public interest organization. So regarding our project, so it's called MOF Waste. That will mean Museum of Food Waste. And if you ask why, because we think that food waste should belong to the past. So this was promoted by our organization in a direct partnership with local schools and also with local charities. So the project target in terms of the public that we work with was youth mainly, between 5 to 35, but I would say that the teenagers were the maximum that we work with. The project took 6 months in 2021, and it was led from May to November. So basically, and allow me to read, the project aims is to raise awareness on food waste by engaging youngsters in sharing photos and videos through social media and providing on-site workshops for capacitation on simple to use solutions for reduction of valorization food waste. So it was, this is the short view of what the project was. So the main activities during this period was to work with the schools and also work directly with the kids from the school and work with the youth from the community itself. So the main activities that we had was the monitoring food waste. We had several awareness campaigns online and offline, and also we realized several workshops. That it was here that we get to know the problem and to understand what it was. And also we got the storytelling that came from all the participants that we have. I'm going to briefly you in the kind of activities, and allow me to share this. I think this was one of the most interesting activities that we had, because somehow you can do awareness campaign on food waste and talk about globally problems and talk about big numbers. But what we understood from our project is when you touch the reality of each individual person, when they get to know how much do they contribute for this issue, then they start to be aware and they start to make some changes. So basically during 1 month, we were exactly monitoring the food waste. So every day we were weighting the food waste that the school was making, and in this case of the summer camps. And this, if you can see it on the picture, you'll find the grams of the total amount of meals on that day. So then we also got the number of average speaking, of course, how much person individually was contributing with food waste. So everybody every day was having their number of food waste, and the idea was that they see the progressive of rising or not the food waste. This happened also on the schools, in 2 schools, and that were serving around 500 meals per day, and this is how we got to the big number. Regarding the awareness campaigns, we done it on an offline and online way. So basically, all the numbers that we were collecting, we were trying to inform the kids and to make these provocative posters to make them pay attention to the issue itself. The workshops, we had 16 different workshops, and I'm not going to go over all, but basically it was always about the valorization of food and how they can change our habits, daily habits can change so we can decrease the food waste. We also had this funny adventure with some kids and how to organize our fridge. So this was one of the main workshops. It's funny to see it in another project as well. Gamification was also used through the project to reach and to get to close by to kids so they learn a little bit more while playing and on the school. We had a food station on the Food Week fair on both of the schools. This was quite important because we got 1 week, one full week in each school, and we had time with each class to get to discuss the problem on a forum and exploring the subject itself. Also, the storytelling, this was the challenge, that they are in Portuguese, of course, but what we had is that we challenge each kid to give us a feedback on the best practice that they were doing at home with their parents, with their families. So they would be sharing their reality on what are they doing and what's the best practice that they do at home, and to try to share it online. It was quite interesting because the ones who more participate on this was the youngsters. So this was still the 12 years old, 6 to 12 years old was the mainly public that came with it. If I need to give some results on the projects and some numbers, so basically we had like these 16 workshops. We got to work with almost 600 participants were involved, and these big partnerships with the local schools and local charities. And also we had some celebrations on the Ecology Day and the European Healthy Food Day. Regarding this project, the good thing about it, it's actually that the project, it's still going on after it's ended. So the school now, every year, we had this compromise with the school that we will be working this subject every year. So we get to work with all the levels from the school. So this is, if you want to get to know a little bit more, you can get our website of the organization, also of the project, that I'll be happy to write it down on the chat box for you. I hope I didn't speak so fast. The idea was that you just get to see a little bit what we were doing in reality and how to get to kids and to youth and to get to know their reality and act on their realities. It's what we believe that it might bring some changes in the future. So once again, thank you for all the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Rui. It was very interesting. I already knew both the projects, but it's always nice to see them again. So I invite you to contact them if you're interested in to know more about both the mini projects or the civil society organizations. But now let's get into this year's call. So let me share with you my presentation. Okay, so this year, again, as I said before, ALDA, within the Food Wave project, is launching a new call for proposal directed towards local authorities. Sorry, let me see if it works. Okay, perfect. So as I was saying before, ALDA is one of the partners of Food Wave. Of course, I will just start with a very quick overview about the sub-granting scheme. ALDA's role in the Food Wave project is to organize this 3-year sub-granting scheme that is aimed at supporting grassroots initiatives and street actions in the field of climate-friendly food consumption behaviors and targeted towards young people. So as we saw, the first lot of sub-granting proposals were received in 2021, where we financed 21 projects organized by civil society organizations and youth groups. This year, we are going to finance at least 16 projects organized by local authorities. And stay tuned, because in 2023, we are going to finance 5 projects, but carried out by networks. So with joint initiatives involving local authorities, civil society organizations, and youth groups. So the first call for proposals went really well. You just saw 2 amazing examples about it. I will not mention all the sub-grantees in this context, but we will share with you the slides. So please feel free to contact them or go check them out if you want to see more about what they implemented during the first call of the Food Wave sub-granting scheme. So let's go to the call that is open now. So just a quick overview of the call, but don't worry, we will get into each part more thoroughly during my presentation. So the call is open till the 24th of March. The beneficiaries of the call are local authorities, but specifically municipalities or city that must be located in one of the 16 Food Wave EU countries, and we will see what they are. As we said before, and as you could see during the first interventions of today, the topic is very specific. That is to say, the nexus between food and climate, and the target, which is super important. You will see that the target is fundamental in this call for proposals, is young people, and specifically young people between 15 and 35 years old. The grant, so as for the grant, we will accept the submitted proposal with a budget of a maximum of 5,000 euros, and they will be funded with a maximum of 3,750 euros. So we will fund 75% of the actions. You will see, but we will talk about it better later, that you will need 25% of co-funding. And the implementation period of the action, you can implement the action financed by this call anytime between the 20th of May 2022 and the 20th of November 2022. So let's start with the thematic focus. Again, as I said before, and as you could already see in the first presentations, what is very important is that you focus on the nexus between food and climate, and that you, let's say, follow the goals and the values of the DARE project, the Sustainable Development Goals, and the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact that we saw before. Again, these are examples, but of, again, the focus that you can give to your actions. So, for example, your action can focus on sustainable diets to reduce the impact on the planet and protect human rights. Or it can focus on local alternative food systems, local producers, and territorial markets. Then we have fight against food waste, or education on sustainable food and knowledge and sharing and dissemination, and fight against climate change and equal access to healthy, sustainable, and fair food. Again, these are examples, but of course, what we care is that you have really in mind this nexus between food and climate, and the goals of the DARE project, the Sustainable Development Goals, and the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. So this is the theme. Eligibility. Who is eligible to become a sub-grantee this year? So first of all, the applicant must be a local authority in the form of municipality or city. Then the applicant must be directly responsible for the preparation and management of the action, so it must not be acting as an intermediary. So what we want to say here is that, of course, we encourage and value if a local authority has connections and links with other local civil society organizations or associations of the territory. So we encourage it, but still the responsible, the financial and managing responsible of the project must be a local authority. It cannot go, it cannot make a sub-grant of a sub-grant. Then the applicant must be legally established in one of the EU member states involved in the Food Wave project. Of course, neither partners of the consortium of Food Wave or their funding members are eligible. Also, something that is very important is that the applicant must not be the beneficiary of any other ongoing project funded under the same, they are called that financed the Food Wave project. And again, as I said before, we encourage and we appreciate long-lasting collaborations with local youth organizations, because we are aware that this can maximize the impact of the action. But these organizations must not be already suppliers in any capacity of the Food Wave project. Then let's go to the eligible activities. Again, as I was saying, activities must take place in one of the territories of the Food Wave project. So Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Greece, Hungary, Italy, France, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and UK. We also, you will see them written in the call for proposals. We provided you with some examples of activities. Of course, you can be innovative. You can propose us initiatives and activities that are not included in this, but these are just a way to help you to develop your proposal. So first of all, eligible activities can be communication activities. So for example, elaboration of content, videos, and etc. Then we have promotion and dissemination activities, awareness raising activities, training activities such as working camps, voluntary activities, training courses, workshop, and so forth. Then initiatives against food waste. So, for example, educational activities aimed at combating food waste, We encourage also initiatives with school, promotion of good practice, and so forth. And also art projects and art initiatives. So you can also organize a local exhibition, artistic installations, art contests. What is important, of course, is that these activities carry out the values that we just presented, so that tackle the issues of the nexus between food and climate change. I will not go through also the eligible actions, because you will have an overview and they will be specifically written in the call for proposal that I invite you to read fully. But of course, there are some actions that are not eligible, so you can ask us to fund with this subgranting scheme this type of action. So, for example, we do not fund action that support political parties, actions that consist only or even primarily in capital expenditure. So, for example, land building equipment, the expenditure for land building equipment and so forth. Or, for example, we cannot fund, and you cannot ask us to fund under this action concerned only or mainly with individual for sponsorship, for participation in workshops, seminars, and so forth. So please read them carefully. Again, now we come to the core of this action. This is fundamental, and that is the target. In fact, we really want for the local authorities, for the municipalities that will be the beneficiaries of this call, to create an active link with young people. We want them to involve young people as much as possible. This is really to keep on the forefront of your application, because I'm telling you also that we will, also in the context of the evaluation of the project, we will keep this target very on the forefront of our evaluation. So please be very specific and explicit when you disclose how you are going to involve the target, how you're going to involve young people. And when we say young people, we consider young people, everyone between 15 and 35 years old. As I said before, these young people, I mean, in your application is not sufficient that you mention that you will generally involve young people, but it's important that these people are clearly identified. And I'm talking both about direct beneficiaries and also indirect beneficiaries. So please identify them clearly and explicitly. Also, it's important for having, a good evaluation of your proposals, that we can see that the project, the actions, the workshop that you present clearly meet the needs of these targets, so that you know the needs of these young people and these proposals meet their needs. Then, of course, again, it's very important that these people are actively involved in the action. The action that you carry out must actively mobilize and engage youth. So please, again, I'm sorry if I keep repeating it, but this is really, really important, that as a municipality, as a city, you create a link with young people and a way to mobilize them within your activity. So please be very explicit with this when you write your proposal. Then let's go to the grant. So as I was saying before, the contribution from the subgranting scheme will cover 75% of the total eligible cost of the total budget for the activity. So this means that the beneficiary must provide 25% of co-financing. So any submitted proposal must be of maximum 5,000 euros of budget. And as I said before, each applicant will benefit from a financing of 75% of the total action, up to a maximum of 3,750 euros, while the remaining 25% of the action, which is 1,250 euros, will be provided by each applicant as co-funding. Now, this is very important. I want to stress something, that you can also propose an action that costs less than 5,000 euros. So your budget of the action you propose can amount to less than 5,000 euros. What matters to us in that context is that the percentages stay the same. So even if your budget proposal is 3,000 euros, still you will benefit from 75% of that budget, and the remaining 25% will have to be provided by you as co-funding. Also, something else that I would like to stress is that it's important for us to be inclusive of the events of the municipalities. So, for example, if a municipality or a city has already planned for this year a big this is just an example, a big festival on food, environment, and climate change, that maybe costs 20,000 euros, and you want to finance one of the actions of this festival that you organize with this sub-granting scheme. Can you do it? Yes, you can do it, of course, if it respects all the eligibility criteria and all the criteria that we mentioned before. But the budget you will have to propose, it will always have to be 5,000 euros. So the expenses you will report will always be of maximum 5,000 euros. So even if you have a bigger festival and the action funded by the sub-grant is within a festival, you can do it, but for example, to finance a specific workshop, but the budget that you propose to us will always have to be maximum 5,000 euros. So I was talking about co-funding. What is co-funding? Is the difference between the total cost of the action and the amount requested, and it must be financed from the beneficiary's own sources. So it's that part of the budget, let's say, that you finance with, that the local authority finance with its own resources. What is important is that you cannot use as co-funding any other fund of EU origin. So it must be your own resources, but it does not have to come from the EU. It must be another EU program. Also, of course, as I was saying before, all expenses, both for funding and co-funding, must be reported within the implementation period. So I know this is complicated, but don't worry, we will not leave you alone. So for the beneficiaries, so for the people, for the local authorities that will successfully, get this funding from the Food Wave project, we will organize some specific webinars on the topic of financial reporting and funding. So don't worry about it, we will not leave you alone on this. As for the evaluation criteria, so again, I always refer to you to what is mentioned within the call for proposals that you will get also in the chat. Virginia will share it with you in the chat, the link to the call for proposals. And you will see the main evaluation criteria very thoroughly, so you know what we are looking for and what we will evaluate. It's very transparent. So the main evaluation criteria, what are they? So first of all is the coherence of the action you propose with the thematic focus and the call, then the objectives and the call objectives, their program priorities and the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact and the Sustainable Development Goals. So please be very mindful of the thematic focus and of the of these programs. Then, as I think I was very clear before, but I will stress it again, it's very important for us. It's going to be a very big, it's going to be a very big impact on the evaluation, the relevance for the actions target group. So again, as I mentioned, young people between 15 and 35 years old. So please be very specific and explicit with that. Then, of course, we will evaluate the effectiveness, credibility, and potential impact of the action. Of course, we will evaluate also communication, visibility creation and also visibility creation. But also we will positively evaluate creation of synergies with existing international events, international days, international organizations, or international networks. So this is going to be positively evaluated. In fact, for example, you can see there is going to be specific additional points to those of you who will organize the action on the 16th of October, which is the World Food Day. So, and also we mentioned some other important dates in the call for proposal, please go check them, but this one, the 16th of October, is particularly relevant. So, of course, we will also value how you can link your action with existing international events or other initiatives. Of course, we will positively value the creativity and innovation of the action. And as I was mentioning before, we will give additional points to those of you who will organize their action, again, as I said, on the 16th of October. And we will value with additional points the ability of the project to promote gender balance in its activities. So, for example, you organize a conference and there is a balanced number of men and women who are speakers. This is just an example. But we will give additional points in this scenario. Something that I want to stress: the call, like your answer to the call, the evaluation of your proposal. So the proposal you will see in the call will have to be made through a form, a Google form. Again, please be very explicit when you mention these criteria. So what I mean is, since we are being very explicit with our evaluation criteria in the call, please be mindful of them and be explicit in your proposal. So say, for example, the project has the ability to promote gender balance because we will, during this, we will invite X, Y, and Z, you know. So be very explicit, because this will, because of course we cannot evaluate something that is not explicitly written. Please, so keep this in mind. So the next phase, what is going to happen? So again, the call is open from the 24th of February till the 24th of March. Today, as you know, there is this online event to present the call. If you know someone who wanted to take part to it but didn't manage to, or if you want to share this with your with some local authorities that you feel might be interested, don't worry, because this session is recorded and it will be shared with you on the channels of Foodwave, on ALDA's channel. So don't worry, it will be on demand for everyone who needs it. And I will also share my slides on the Foodwave webpage dedicated to the call that you have in the chat. Then within March and April, there will be the selection of the proposal from an international selection committee. And then, again, as I was saying before, between May and November, there is the project implementation period. But as I was saying also before, don't worry, we will not leave you alone during the project implementation period. We will help you, especially at the beginning, with, we will give you all the information, and we will help you with specific sessions, specifically again on the financial part, on financial reporting, which is super important and might be a bit tricky, so we will help you really with that. And also about communication, because of course Foodwave is a EU-funded project, so also you will have to follow some specific rules of the communication. But also something that I think will be very interesting in these first webinars that we will organize for the beneficiaries, in that the local authorities and the beneficiaries will be able to know each other and create networks. So, for example, for us, something that I didn't mention before, but it's very important, that all the sub-grantees of the 3 years keep getting in touch with each other and create a network based on this. So this is very important for us. And you will have access to this in case you get become a beneficiary. So Q&A, something very important. Of course, if you have questions, please write them in the chat, or I think there is also a specific Q&A button on the Zoom. But in case you don't have any questions now, but you have them later, write to this email, and we will answer to you. We will answer to you through also a series of frequently asked questions then uploaded on the website. But I will share with you some questions that arrived this week on this mail address, because I thought it could be interesting, because maybe some of you have these questions. So we noticed that these are quite frequently asked questions. So first of all, the first question, and in fact, I forgot to mention this before, can I submit an application in my native language? No, the application must be submitted in English. But if you ask if the activities can the activities be executed in our native language, afterwards, can you accept the proving materials or videos, graphic elements in our native language? So the answer is yes, of course, it's possible to realize an activity in a language other than English, but as long as the final report that you will send at the end of the project is in English. Also, the dissemination materials can be handed in the native language, but they have to be accompanied by a description, a translation. So you will see that, of course, I mean, of course, you can do your activities in your native language, but in the final report, we will ask you to describe the activity, and the report must be in English. But we will support you with this. So, for example, also, you will need to translate contracts or invoices, but we will give you templates for that. So don't worry about it. Then another question that was asked is, can one project proposal be presented by more than one municipality or by a CSO cooperating with a municipality? And the answer is no, in the sense that the project proposal must be proposed, must be presented by one potential beneficiary, and the potential beneficiary must be a municipality or city. Again, because as I said before, we really appreciate the collaboration of the municipalities with the local society, civil society organizations, but the person, the legal entity that will have to present the proposal is a municipality. Another question that was asked about the co-funding is that if in-kind contributions can be eligible for crowdfunding, and unfortunately the answer is no. The co-funding must we cannot accept in-kind contribution as co-funding. So again, thank you so much. Please write to this email if you have any questions, and share the call with whoever you think could be interested, with your local authorities, because it's a very interesting project. Now I will stop the sharing. Please, if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat or in the Q&A part of Zoom. In the meanwhile, I invite the other panelists to add something if they want to add something. I don't know if maybe Sarah or Cecile want to add something on what I said. Please feel free to do that. Okay, I'm checking if there are questions, but there aren't any yet. You can find anyway in the chat all the links to the call, but also to the sub-grantees who presented their projects, but also on the Milan Europe Policy Pact website. Please go and check it. There are not questions so far, so Cecilia or Sarah, feel free to add something if you want. Okay.
I think that your presentation, Valeria, have been very clear to everybody, and I really hope that it will be a very participated call, because I really think that it is an interesting opportunity for local authorities.
Yes, thank you very much, Cecile. I don't know if there are any questions from YouTube, Francesca. But in any case, I invite everybody to write on the email address we provided you. Thank you again also to Rui and Susanna for your very interesting presentation. It's always great to see your projects and how they got developed. I invite everyone to check them out, to check their civil society organizations out, because they develop really, really interesting content and initiatives. Since I think there are no questions, I think we can say goodbye, and thank you again for the participants for being here, and also for everyone on YouTube following us on with the live stream. Please share this call with your local authorities if you think they might be interested, and we will keep you updated. And also remember to follow the social media of Foodwave to always keep updated in the many, many activities that this project carries out. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.